Just a sec, Murat.
I am going to share my screen. Are we live now? Okay. Good morning, everybody. We are very pleased to able to host this second of TUAC, the undergraduate academic conference, and to welcome you. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. I am going to try to keep my speech short. First, I want to introduce myself. I am an assistant professor of electrical engineering at the Turkish German University in Istanbul, and also the IEEE Turkey section SAC chair. This is a view of my school, aerial view. So I'm going to give a brief overview on the Turkey section student branches. As of today, we have over 700 student members. Among them, 436 student members and 278 graduate student members. There are 78 student branches and 63 student branch chapters. From these, 54 student branches submitted their plan on V2s, so that means they are active. In 2021, student branches organized almost 200 events. The source is V2s. There are also events which were not entered in V2s. So they organized 2 student summits, sources again the V2s. And we organized the 19th IEEE Turkey section student branches and young professional meeting in September. In July, last July, 1 year ago, we organized the first of TUAC, and in November, the Central European Student and Young Professional Congress. Our student branches are very active. 11 student branches received the IEEE Exemplary Student Branch Award, and 3 student branches received the Daryl Chong Student Activity Award. So we are proud of them. This is the Student Activities Committee. Can Can'dan the IEEE Turkey section student representative, and we have also student liaisons for most of the technical societies. One of the biggest events was the Central European Student and Young Professional Congress in November, last November. This was the organizing committee, Tunçer Baykaş, our vice chair, and Ömer Melikgül, he was the YP chair at that time. And of course, our team members. Without the help of our students, this would be impossible. Can Can'dan Muzaffer Sevili, Aylin Örnek, Osman Şakır, Haktan Özdemir, Hatice Taş'tan Melek Yıldız, Berkay Aksakal, Berkay Özcan. I want to mention every of them. So I'm going to skip this. A brief overview of 279, we received 279 registrations. On first day, we had 168 attendance, and mean connection time was 99 minutes. On second day, we had 102 attendance, and mean connection time was 91 minutes. That means also we organized this on Zoom. The event was online. We also received interactions on social media. The numbers are higher than we expected, actually. So I'm coming to TUAC. TUAC is the undergraduate academic conference. The purpose of this event is to TUAC is a yearly event, and the purpose is to emulate a conference experience for undergraduate students to motivate them to improve their researching, academic writing, and presentation skills. The language of the conference is English, and only undergraduate students are allowed to submit a paper. Again, an overview on numbers last year. 23 papers were accepted for oral presentation. We organized 4 sessions on 2 days. The platform was Zoom, and the conference was aired on YouTube live. The session videos were watched almost 1,000 times, and keynote talks were watched 740 times. So I think these numbers are great. Now I'm coming to TUAC 2022. This is the organizing committee. Tunçer Baykaş, the vice chair, myself, Serhan Yarkan, the professional development and educational activities coordinator, Ali Boyacı, vice coordinator, and again the team: Seda Nur Karabayram, Halil Said Can Kurtaran, Sümeyye Can Kurtaran, Selçuk Yiğit Esedoğlu, Mehmet Osman Kınacı Kara, Zehra Özeren. We had 4 tracks on the conference: electrical engineering, computer science, robotics and mechatronics, and engineering and natural sciences. At the beginning of each session, we are going to host a very distinguished speaker. I am sure that we will all benefit from their knowledge and insights. Dr. Conrad Attard, he is the Professional and Educational Activities Subcommittee Chair at IEEE Region 8. Professor Peter Furr from Oak Ridge National Laboratory, United States, and Professor İlker Birbil from University of Amsterdam. So, a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. Now I am giving the word to Professor Serhan Yarkan. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Murat. Hello, everyone. My name is Serhan Yarkan. I'm Turkey Section Professional Development and Educational Activities coordinator, and carrying out this task with Dr. Ali Boyacı, who was going to be here, but there is an urgent meeting popped up. That's why, unfortunately, he's not going to be here with us today. I would like to first thank Professor Fatih Uğurda, who is the initiator of this academic event, and our vice chair, Professor Tunçer Baykaş. I think, Professor Murat already talked about the committee who took part extremely intensive tests in this organization. That's why I'm not gonna go with that. So it's my pleasure here today to introduce you to Dr. Conrad Attard, who has many hats both in academia and IEEE. He is, let me just briefly list some of them. He is senior lecturer and faculty of ICT and deputy dean at, again, ICT at University of Malta, chair of Malta Computer Society, and most importantly for us, he helped all the time with us, in connection with us, in Region 8 professional and educational activities, because he's the chair of Region 8 PDA subcommittee. We are very happy to have Dr. Conrad with us in here today. And now the stage is yours, Dr. Conrad.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. And after following your presentation, well done to your section and all the OUs that are making IEEE so accessible, and with all the activities and awards and contribution for humanity, advancement in humanity. Well done, Turkey. So that's something which we love seeing, the activity. I'm going to share my presentation. So just 1 second. So today, my presentation has 2 parts. The first part is going to be focused on IEEE. Our role, both as a coordinator, our committee is coordinating the Region 8, and a short presentation, which is the second part, about a project which initiated in Sheffield, UK, where we try to find, propose a solution that allows us to share knowledge in real time, with now a particular focus on digital health solutions, and therefore help even more professional healthcare to get more engaged with technology and find an effective way to learn and to be more comfortable when using technologies, including the basics to a more complex learning objects, and therefore making them more accessible by crowdsourcing knowledge. But I will start off with briefly going over highlights of our programs. We do have a lot of programs, and the aim of these programs is to find all excuses to empower the IEEE members, to empower the sections, all the different OUs to take advantage of funds, resources, and most importantly, to travel and to meet in such a way that not only we work within our local region, but ideally we can, for example, compete with different competitions and being able to get the family of IEEE more together through the different programs that we offer. So this screen briefly gives you an overview, which is basically the various programs which I will briefly speak about. They're not limited to these, because apart from being Region 8, we are also part of EAB, which is the Global Education Activities Board, where there are even more and more programs with more resources, more grants, and more interesting material. I'm sure you heard about some of them, like Try Engineering for the STEM, and the ILN for continuous education, and even more. Region 8 is doing its utmost to try and get even more of these resources available for our members, and as best possible to take advantage of this knowledge and best training about all the various topics that exist. So we recently rebranded slightly our logo, which is basically focusing on these three colors, these three categories, because our committee focuses on the pre-university, university, and continuous education. There are three very important aspects. That's the education, but also the professional aspect. That means what we would like our members to take advantage. After all, our members, we are all part of this community where we are advancing in our career. And now we can say through our committee, we capture our members from a very, very young age. When we do our STEM programs, we leave an impact to kids and secondary schools, and these remember and recall our activities, and we always believe that then they will choose engineering or ICT or the sciences, and we'll meet them back again at university, or even better, when they start the professional life and become even more active in IEEE. So sometimes I meet students at university before they actually start the course. They would send me an email, next year I'm starting and I want to be part of IEEE. I remember some of the activities the local section has organized, the local education group, the local student branch. We really love it, and we already want to be active to now be the protagonists. And this is something really great, because we're already capturing the enthusiasm and the energy of new members. This photo is the committee that we are at the moment, a great team, which allows us to work together on these various programs. Some faces are familiar, and I'm sure with time, the new ones will become even more familiar. Okay, this is a slide, just a lot of information and some dates, etc. I will just speak just about the highlights. We have the Robot Championship, which is happening end of November, first week of December. It's going to probably be on the 3rd and 5th December. We are finalizing with the venue to take advantage of a setup which is going to be used right after our event. The Robot Championship is all about experience, about education. I will soon show you a clip which will summarize what we are planning, but most importantly, the idea behind it is all the programs related to it. We're going to invite not only the teams, we were so happy with the teams that have applied, but also people which love this type of competition or building robots, and you will have access to different training programs which are not only the technical programs, the need or the underlying thinking to be able to play those games that we have planned for this year, but also other aspects which help you finance the robot, like the entrepreneurship skills, the business skills. Our team from the entrepreneurship committee has prepared a program and resources to help out with that. We have the STEM programs which can be supported by the student branch, which is basically using the robot and the different resources that can get kids excited to learn about what makes a robot smart, how can it do certain things using autonomous approaches, how do you design a robot, how to make it efficient, how do you manage to stick to the rules to control the weight, and all the different aspects that incredibly. And every championship we have organized, I was involved in Malta in over 9 of these. We can't say that any robot was the same. Each robot had a character, had something which made it distinguishable from others. In fact, I have a few now at my house because we're creating the programs and the recordings. And I always say, wow, it's incredible how everybody tackles and solves the problems. And at the same time, they always search for that advantage to win. The local language program, which we have launched recently, and soon we will also have the ambassadors program for the local language, where we'll give the opportunity for to prioritize the languages and make it more accessible. I'm sure, although a lot of us speak English, but there is also this opportunity where the native language is also promoted using the lichens that we are prepared, and to help more people, even when they travel from their own country to other countries, to know more about activities that are done in their local language. It's something I believe very important. We have worked with Region 9 and 10, and we believe that we would like to emphasize more about this. We also focus on the accelerated context, which the deadline is 1st August. We have increased now from $300 to $500 the budget to be able to give more funds for good activities that you promote and propose. So do apply, reach out to us, because the accelerated program is truly something that can help you make more and more activities. And we are already welcoming applications and looking forward for your great ideas in the 3 categories: pre-university, university, and continuous education. So we focus slightly on the Robot Championship. We are focusing on these aspects: the teamwork, STEM, communication, problem solving, entrepreneurship, creativity, and the strive to achieve. 4 of these will have their own awards. We are going to find all excuses to be able to reward the Roboteers' effort, but at the same time, we are also going to welcome members of IEEE if they are interested to follow these programs, even though this year they might not be applying for the Robot Championship. You can attend the activities that we are organizing, because all these are a learning experience, and most importantly, we would like to see this action motivating the Roboteers. Now I have a very short clip which summarizes a bit about the Robot Championship. We are designing more of these clips so that more information can be shared. The applications have closed in June, but do feel free, if you are interested in this Robot Championship, to reach out to us. I will have the links, but just to keep my email, it's very simple. It's my name, Attard, so Conrad.Attard @IEEE.org. feel free to email us. But here is the clip about the Robot Championship. So this is the Robot Championship. We are looking forward. We are going to stream it live. It's going to be also online, and we would love to see so many members of IEEE, young roboteers, to participate, to engage with us, because we would like this to be a holistic opportunity that gets all the categories: pre-university, the university students, which are the main roboteers that are applying for it and to compete, as well in the industry that are collaborating with the roboteers to be able to design these effective robots. So this is a learning experience motivated by competition and motivated in such a way that the 4 games which we have chosen not only get this event very exciting, but we are surely looking forward to find how the various teams are going to solve problems and being able to take advantage in the very short times to reach the end of the competition and win. So the acceleration program, which is something which we were so proud last year, the activities that have been chosen were really, I believe, an opportunity for the sections that got awarded these funds, because they submitted very effective and interesting activities, and 2 activities have been rewarded: the pre-university and the continuous education. And both of them had a very good effect in the area that they were being organized. Such funds can be also not only available because they cover some of the costs, but IEEE EAB also helps funding different opportunities. And so sometimes, because some of the activities require a certain amount of resources, we see that the different organizers combine them together and therefore produce a very good high level of a very creative idea as well, and a high level solution that will make and get more knowledge accessible about IEEE through the different resources that we offer. You can access this to the form. 1st August is the first deadline, so there's right enough time for you to come up with these ideas. We would like to see your applications so that we can fund you and we can enjoy seeing the success of your sections even more through this opportunity. These programs are there for this reason. And the Alpha Engineering Context, which is the competition, which practically from the bit of the presentation that you have started off, I'm sure there are a number of activities you can register and you can participate and get recognized for this. It is related to a type, the amount of activities and what type of activities that you organize, and therefore it allows you to better, even more, share among the region the efforts that are being done through this award. So we hope that you apply for this and you will take this recognition, the applications. Although the proposed deadline is 1st October, we will keep on accepting applications because, worst of all, because of COVID, things were moved, but most important because it is covering over this period of year and the year before, and therefore we are sure there might be more activities that you have planned and that you are submitting in V2s, and why not get recognized for it. We are also part of the entrepreneurship. There is the Entrepreneurship Week and the pitch competition. This is chaired This initiative is chaired by Rowana. We are a very hardworking team. In the SYP, if anybody is going to be there, there's going to be also the pitch competition, which will take place in Tunisia. And we are looking forward to hear and listen to these, so that the judges will then finally choose the best team. And we are looking forward to see the ideas shared among the region, and even more initiatives that we are actually organizing through the Entrepreneurship Committee. So this is something which started as an initiative, and it became so popular and so strong that now it's a committee, and our committee works hand in hand, because obviously this work is related. Together with the Rowana and her team, we are developing the program for the Robot Championship, which will help better give you the skills needed so that you can fund and prepare and smartly and use resources smartly to be effective in your designs. The speakers program, it's we have a lot of interesting speakers. Check our website. I have the link in the slides. Apply for the speakers, even being online or face-to-face. It depends the type of activity that you're organizing. We have some funds that need to be used, and we would love to see these distinguished speakers coming over to give talks, even if they're online. So sometimes, like this conference, yes, you can take advantage of this type of way of organizing activities, but most importantly, apply so that you can, throughout this year, book the distinguished speakers and to participate. As I said earlier on, we are also part of the Education Activities Program. There are so much resources that you can use. The ILN, which is full of interesting courses, the Learning Library, the Credential Program, and the Innovation at Work. All these are a few of them. These are particularly focusing on continuous education, but there are even more and more programs which are related to university and pre-university, like the STEM portal, the Tri-Engineering. Watch out for them. If you need support and would like to know more, feel free to reach out to our committee and also EAB, because we will surely would love to see all these resources. And if there are new ideas that we can improve so that they become even more accessible, we're surely going to listen to you. We have a lot of studies going on to try as much as possible to make them accessible. We can see the popularity of ILN, the increase in people using these resources, particularly since when COVID started, it's more than doubled. But the most important thing is the amount of content that we are putting to be always at the front line of what technology and engineering is actually producing. So this is a link. Keep in touch. Some important links. Our website with all the information you can get about all the various programs. We're soon updating it to add the new ones, the local language, the Robot Championship, which you can also visit IEEE-Malta.org, the committee that is organizing it this year. It is in Malta, a beautiful island. So if you have never visited, you have an excuse to come over. But if you can't make it, we are going to stream it online. We'll give all the information. So be sure you like our Facebook page, and then you get more information about all the various programs that we are organizing. Now is my opportunity to shift to the topic. Feel free if you have any questions about this to use the chat. But the topic I would like to focus now, the second part of this presentation, is a part of a research program. We have a research program which is pervasive electronic monitoring in healthcare, which basically encapsulates a number of different aspects that help us research in the area of pervasive computing, with a particular focus for the elderly, particularly on dementia, danger, and wandering. To do this project, we have worked in the workplace, a residential hospital, which is one of the largest, and there are a number of healthcare professionals which come from different disciplines that are every day through the challenges managing these hospitals. So the technology enhanced learning in a collaborative research project is because the research project itself is a learning program. Whoever participates in our research has the opportunity to be closer, to learn how technology can help professionals to do their job better and improve, as a result, the quality of life of the carer, but most importantly, than of the patient. They go hand in hand. So digital health is something which is growing. It is very clear, even when you visit and follow the reports of the World Health Organization, that quality of life in health cannot not be through also digital health. Having a lot of professionals and very good people in healthcare, we're very lucky, and there's a lot of work being done by our professionals, but digital health is surely the next stage, and it is already here with us, and therefore we are challenged with mainly the main situation where, unfortunately, we still have a lot of problems because the digital aspect is not fully integrated with people within these professions. So we did a number of studies which show clearly that people and professionals know how much digital health can help them at the place of work, but they do not have access to that digital knowledge. IEEE is surely a place where professionals can come over to our conferences to learn about the state of the art, through our Learn and our committee to learn more. So yes, we do reach out. In fact, I am the chair of an MSc in digital health, where most of the students are healthcare professionals, from nurses, doctors, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, and I promote IEEE because IEEE has a lot of resources and is also at the front line of digital health, and it's one of the opportunities for them to get more familiar with digital health. So through an intensive Integra Europe funded project, our research was recognized as one of the best practices, particularly on the way we are creating the data set and allowing the professionals to integrate with us. In our first study, we had over 47 different healthcare professionals that were injecting knowledge about their profession. In return, we've done different studies to show them how technology could help them. And through what is known as the appropriateness test, we also gave them the opportunity to learn about different aspects of technology, and they had the opportunity to see if that type of technology can be of benefit at their place of work. To do so, they needed to experience the technology. So we recruited over 100 healthy participants of different ages, and basically we have created simulations by wearing a simulation suit. This simulation suit, which I'll be speaking to a bit later on, simulates how a person feels if you're old. So these professionals are not only learning about technology, but they're also empathizing with the challenges and the holistic aspect with pervasive computing, pervasive research, which means we are not only interested with the main technology and the wearable, we're not only interested with the medical aspects, but also the patient-centric approach, which allows us as much as possible to learn in a way that we can now empathize even more, but even because we are very smart, the healthcare professionals are very smart, the more they know about their patient, the better their decisions. There are a number of challenges, and mostly some publications which we should be available throughout this year. We are showing a big gap in this area where more work needs to be done. In fact, when a number of research institutes which we collaborate and are following us and came over right out of after COVID and tried out our experiments, they clearly showed they have the same challenges, and we're all looking forward that this data set will be complete and we will have a basis, as everybody knows how important data sets are in such research, a basis for more and more researchers to work together, because we are going to build different profiles focusing, as I said, on dementia and elderly, on wandering, and when wandering is dangerous. It's a big and a very expensive part, which has two side effects, not only on the government and the institutes to manage that, but on the quality of life of the patient, because many times, unfortunately, the solution taken is to control the type of activities that professionals decide to give, and therefore we all know how important wandering is and how important the people with dementia and elderly need to remain active, and therefore the balance between safety and activity becomes a challenge. And therefore such research at the end of the day wants to give access to this knowledge, help better manage this challenging environment, and produce obviously this opportunity. And this is digital health. So digital health is about everything. It's about the core systems, about having access to patient records. It's about being able to maximize the opportunities of the technologies we want today. The standards with which IEEE is championing with to make sure that these standards are not only there to ensure the quality of service that our devices produce, but also the empowering and better giving the people involved, including patients, the knowledge about themselves, and continuous knowledge, which ideally is preventive. It is not when digital health is not about the time you may be diagnosed with a chronic illness or with something, but we learn a lot about ourselves, we get more personalized information, and this will increase our quality of life because we are taking action and we are learning more about ourselves. So the simulation suit and equipment that we use are, as we can see in this image, there are weights, there are things which create the situations that they go through, what they see, how they hear, how they interact, how they go down up the steps. All these limitations are being created, and one would say, why are we actually creating the simulations? Because it's very difficult to actually create. We did observe, and we have done a number of studies in the real environment, but because we are simulating dangers, we wouldn't want the elderly to actually fall. Even if we're there monitoring them and we try to capture the dangers, we obviously will intervene. So our data sets need to be created through simulations, such as the ones that we're doing. Because we are using professional healthcares, and because we've done a number of studies to understand how the activities need to be conducted, our results are already showing and could be much better compared to existing studies about this topic. We investigate how edge computing can help us, how sensors can be managed, how we can use just-in-time to be able to carry that. But this will soon lead us to how knowledge now, how can we get our healthcare professionals to be comfortable with technology? How and what ideas do I have in mind, and what are we trying to propose to our research projects? Because this research is obviously about, we are into human activity recognition, which is basically aiming, and this is a brief introduction, so I have a full study on it just about AI and human activity recognition. It's not the intention here to give you this information, but human activity recognition is basically learning about the activities through sensors or through vision. There are different approaches. We have a whole setup in our labs which replicate a residential home for the elderly, and we create all, as much as possible, those simulations which will help us to understand how we can solve by designing AI algorithms that can predict, and therefore at one point in time we hope to prevent the dangers from happening, and therefore elderly and the people can remain active and more freer to do things, and the carers can take more informed decisions on what type and how they can spend their day. Context is very important, human activity recognition, and at the end of the day, we are there to detect activities. And now, a challenge that we have in such research are the false positives, and a number of the way raw data is being processed, and through a team of international volunteers that have over the years come over to our labs. We have labeled millions of records. We have obviously chosen the reliable data set. Not all data, unfortunately, that is collected by our volunteers is adequate for this data set, but we are processing this data, and through our PhD students and international volunteers, we are labeling this data so that more and more researchers will then have access to this data set. So there are different problems in this area, like the selection of attributes to be measured, the construction of portable, unobtrusive, affordable devices which collect data, and this obviously we are always trying to work independently of devices, and therefore we make sure that we get access to the most recent sensors and devices, and as much as possible, we always look forward that they are unobtrusive as much as possible, and that the elderlies can easily wear these wearables without having any challenges with the technologies that we are using for this to happen. Obviously, human recognition can be categorized into 4 different aspects, including the recognizing of concurrent activities. So when activities are being done at the same time, intervened activities, ambiguity of interpretation, such as when falling is actually falling, or when a person is going down slowly, or if it's a danger or not, and also how they interact with more research, new research projects, which will be commencing in October, where we're going to focus on how different people interact with each other and how the data collected from more than one person can help us recognize better the activity of the individuals that we are monitoring. All these are interesting areas of research which give us a lot of opportunities for us to advance and produce a better quality of life for people with elderly and people with dementia, including the professionals. So our solution will be an open access data set. We create different activities. We are developing tools that involve stakeholders, and at the end of the day, using proper UX, and Unity, we are developing interfaces that will allow, using a Surface Top, that will allow professionals to work together and share knowledge through these solutions that we are producing. We, at the end of the day, want to predict dangers, and that means our systems have to be robust, reliable, and to be successful, we need to, as much as possible, learn from the professionals, which will lead us to the key aspects, sharing knowledge, where we argue that people sharing knowledge at the workplace are sharing all the knowledge they are aware of in the most effective way, because it's shared in the situation where they naturally experience problems at the workplace. So this is a concept I've been following and researching for years, and there's a lot that can be done in this area, because when we were speaking about collaborative systems and sharing knowledge, ultimately crowdsourcing knowledge evolves every single day, and the tools that can capture this due to the development of technology can be as much as possible automated, and therefore the more automated they are and the easier for people to share the knowledge within their profession and collaborate together, the better off the skills that people would have, professionals will have at the workplace. So we conducted studies with over 78 participants. The publication that we have published, we can basically show what the problem is. We have monitored them, and basically we have seen why people have failed at the workplace when wanting to use particular familiar tasks, we call them, because most of the time those are the challenges that people have. So we prioritize on the basics, and we allowed teams to work together at our solution. After this study, which was the first study we conducted, we created a solution which will allow in a very short time. So the time range was between 2 to 3 minutes maximum, where learning objects were created and were accessible for professionals to learn. We could see different personalities, different people, how they contributed, how they learned, and then how they moved from developing their skills through time, and be able to become more confident in what they do. We spent several years working within ICT, and through different companies. I had my own company, and the biggest challenge was how to provide support for at the place of work, because the dynamics of the workplace change. The people move from one department to another. The needs of technology change, and because a lot of environments, just to mention hospitals, free ports or airports, anything you can think of, which are large spaces where people are mobile, moving around, having their job in a pervasive environment, is clearly distinguished from those professions that most of the time might be sitting down in front of a computer, and therefore these two distinguished ways of using the workplace create challenges in the way they are using technology. How have we done the studies? The pre-study was basically understanding participants, creating online manuals where they could learn by themselves how the tool works, and then given a number of tasks, which then allow them to complete these tasks and generate the knowledge and the information that was accessible in real time for all the participants using a tablet application. The tablet application had this format, which basically gives all the screenshots, videos, knowledge, anything that is created is in the middle here, and here is the chat with different symbols pointing to different aspects and allowing different learning objects to be created for that particular solution. So one can create a topic, which is normally the leader or the person that is initiating that particular learning object. Cycles are created depending on the detail the person would like to describe that particular solution. And the solution can be collaborative. That means a number of people can give more insights and information about that particular cycle. Sometimes it's the missing point, that little detail with which a person has missed in the process, and therefore a number of instances are created, and those instances then, through a recommender system, learns about typically the profile of that particular individual and starts recommending which information should be shared in that particular context. The results were quite interesting. So people took different roles, either being a creator or an active participant or simply a viewer, and these three distinguished roles were allowed more than 1,200 different contributions for different solutions. Compared to the previous study, we saw that 93% of the participants managed to complete the 4 tasks, and there were 12 that encountered problems. They referred to the tablet application. Okay, so 42% had problems and used the applications to solve them. There were a number that asked questions to the application. Therefore, they actually wanted more insights and information in the learning objects, and then a small percentage managed to fix the problems by themselves without needing actually to use this application. So the whole variety of people and approaches for the same problems, basically the first study, this is what we presented. We currently did much more studies. We gave more interesting program tasks, and we hope to publish them hopefully beginning of next year, when this project will be done, and we would love to share the learning insights about this approach of using technologies while doing research, at the same time ensuring that more and more people are becoming smarter and becoming more digital digital people and therefore making it more accessible. So we can see that more than 96% of the professions think that they can help them using digital in their work, but only about 4% unfortunately have the know-how of how this can make it happen. Unless they are exposed too much to the digital, this is a bit of a challenge. The appropriateness method, which we have conducted, gave us an insight to focus groups of how technology can help them, and a large number of professionals participated, learned about the technologies, and gave us good insight how they would apply them to their day-to-day knowledge. So the conclusion of this really is digital knowledge needs to be integrated from the early stages at university in our courses so that more professionals are comfortable not only with their area of expertise, but also about what they actually, how they can actually be more confident with technology. Personalization, simulations, all these are key aspects, how to tackle dangers, observations through our programs. So these key aspects surely gave us a good learning experience to develop in different iterations our idea so that this solution hopefully will become even more accessible and personalized for the different professionals that are using these solutions. So I'm towards the end. I would like to leave, maybe if there are some questions or some more information about this topic. I hope you found it interesting. A lot is going on, and I would love to keep you updated. So follow us, and so that we can participate either in conference or in different places such as this one, so that our ideas can become even more reality and applied not only in research, but obviously in industry and in the workplace. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Dr. Conrad, thank you for this insightful and motivating presentation. I also would like to take this small time and opportunity to appreciate your help and effort in supporting our activities and announcing it in IEEE Regionate subcommittee meetings. That's why I want to thank you one more time. Now, let me glance at the YouTube chat portal as well in case any question is there. I think, we have one. With your permission, let me just, read it out. It's coming from Professor Murat. He's asking, student contests are a good way to motivate the students. IEEE is an organization of engineers, but what do you think about basic science, fundamental science? Are you planning events and contents on this? That's the question.
So basic science is a fundamental thing, which I personally, and even in our section, I keep on working on, I keep on training. We have the concept of TISP, that is, we train teachers to be able to train their kids. We also, which is one of the programs that we have. So basic science is fundamental. I really agree with this comment, and there are so many different opportunities through our committee, but also to the resources that are available to the STEM board, the tri-engineering, and the different initiatives to promote it. Why? Especially if they're hands-on, because as I started with the application, whenever we are organizing such activities and supporting the schools to challenge them in the way they are actually using and reaching out science and trying to promote science as fun, science as the curiosity to get to know how things work, and the way we do the hands-on as you refer to the basic science. I think this is a very important aspect, and no matter what discipline, what career you choose, because it gives you more knowledge and it gives you the idea, even when you are in so many different positions, maybe not becoming an engineer, even if you are in policy making. If you know science and you grow with science, you can take more informed decisions which can protect our environment. And also, we all know then most of the time, because you're using a scientific approach, you tend to be smarter and give more effective results. So yes, we have various programs, all programs basically, which are focused on university and pre-university, have this link to find different ways how to educate our kids, and even not kids, because I must admit, when we go to a fair, a STEM fair, we actually get grown-ups which get lost and start trying them out. At first they're looking at their kids, then they get immersed in it. So I think science and basic science always excites people, and the programs are there to support. We are also willing to the STEM portal to listen and to suggest your own programs. We are creating some ourselves, but we get so many good ideas from all over the world. So the STEM portal, there's a section where you can promote a program which you might have piloted. You might also get funds for it, like through the acceleration program. So go ahead, apply for those funds. But most importantly, we will know about it, and why not? We will tell the whole region or even the world, because through EAB, they share it with all the regions, and then we can scale it up and more people can follow your great ideas.
Thank you, Dr. Conrad. With your permission, I have a small question, because I think you're the right person to ask. I'm gonna check YouTube one more time, but just before that, I want to ask. I mean, you already told us that and we've already seen in the meeting, subcommittee meeting, that there is several TUAC-like activities in Region 8. So I already know that several countries like Germany organize conferences focusing on undergraduate and maybe graduate level student organizations, let's say that in that sense. But what do you think about the convergence of all of these activities under Region 8 umbrella? Do you think it is worth trying to get them together, or is this?
I have already proposed that. I because of your enthusiasm and other people that are doing such an activity, I've proposed how this can be done. A program and an idea takes time. There will be a change in the director. So if I am involved in one way or other in the next committee, I'm sure we're going to put this one of the first things that we can work together, getting your good experience together, and we will make sure to see how Region 8 can formulate and get this thing together as a region. So this is a very good idea, and I hope that we will work as a Region 8, not only in the different sections.
Okay, thanks. And let me just check one more time. I think we have no further questions. Let me just ask one more time in the audience, Professor Murat, Professor Zeynep. If not, I'm going to hand the word to Professor Murat to end the session.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Attard. It was very nice and comprehensive.
Thank you. Thanks.
So thank you one more time. Now we are closing this session and stopping the live stream, but we will start another live stream in 2 minutes.